sharing a reading experience. I took down some notes from Too Nice for Your Own Good by Duke Robinson, and I'm sharing it with you now. I hope you listen and receive something worthwhile from this. Remember, these are just my notes, not necessarily a report of what the book's about. It might not even be the words or thoughts of the author. Rather, these notes are what I gleaned or what I thought about while I was reading. These notes are what caught my interest because the ideas expanded my knowledge or made me think, reflect, or ponder in some way. This video might inspire you to read what I did. It's my hope that you'll search for the best books and gain information and ideas to help you to become a better person. The more you read, the better you'll think. And the better you think, the more you'll be able to face life's challenges successfully. We're individuals, but we cannot be whole in isolation. We need community. Our finest moments are in concert with others. We need others to share our lives, but being social means that others can inhibit us. Others touch us in both negative and positive ways. When we strive to live up to standards, we make a social effort to please ourselves by pleasing others. While it's appropriate for society to set standards and for the individual to express opinions, it's not fitting to let society dictate everything in your life, especially if those standards are unrealistic or cost more than they're worth. On the other hand, always striving to please oneself is equally a mistake, as you often want to do what is not in your best interest. The sweet spot is to express your best self and serve your deepest interest while remaining loyal to truth, and then obligate yourself to certain actions that reflect those truths. Interdependence is a middle ground that allows you to honor yourself while recognizing how others contribute to your life. It's striving to live for what's good for all rather than what's good for just you. It's setting reasonable expectations and allowing yourself to try new approaches when things don't go well. When you try to please everyone, you enslave yourself. When you try to serve everyone, including yourself, you become liberated. We must love in order to live, and live in order to love. Love is acceptance. Those who love take you as you are. Love offers you unconditional acceptance. Love withholds judgment that is deserved. Love doesn't seek revenge for wrongs. The perfection of love's acceptance can liberate us from the struggle of trying to be perfect all the time. Perfection pays for everything and is based on conditional acceptance. You must accept the fact that you're already accepted, and then we must accept ourselves. Love tells us we're valid and accepted no matter what we're like. You must choose to look at life through the lens of love. Accept everyone rather than requiring them to pass some sort of test before you're willing to associate with them. Transform yourself into someone who enjoys accepting imperfect people, which includes you. Do something for people they don't deserve and withhold judgment that they do deserve. The one who will benefit the most is you. Acknowledge your own shortcomings rather than living every day desperately trying to cover them up. We all overestimate the interest of others in judging our performances. Let it be seen that you're imperfect and you're still happy. Accept the fact that you're a mistake. You're a mistake maker. And those mistakes that you make are not going to matter one bit tomorrow. When we find ourselves taking on too much, it's often the desperate need to be accepted. We often kill ourselves trying to prove that we aren't unworthy. We mistakenly think that we're worthy only when we outdo ourselves or when we're suffering. Use your energy and time responsibly rather than taking on too much. You have both the right and the responsibility to say no when appropriate. Always say no when you're committed to more important matters. You must weigh your commitments with thoughtfulness to make your life more effective and balanced. Planning is a necessary survival tool. You need planning to have a worthwhile direction in your life. If you do not, you will drift or spend all your time fending off what the world throws at you. Planning grounds you in solid values rather than betraying your best interest. Instead of seeing how much you can get done, you need to pursue healthy and hopeful aspirations. Your purpose here is to manage your time rather than letting demands control you. Think before you say yes and say no to tasks not suited for you. We wrongly assume that self love and selfishness are one and the same. We misunderstand our spiritual connection to others and fail to see that healthy relationships are based on giving as well as getting, including getting by giving. This is called a relationship. We can get much of what we want simply by letting others know what we want. From the moment we are born, everyone impinges on our interest. Since life, in its most primitive form, is a struggle for survival, we constantly feel like we're being invaded and violated. Suppressing anger makes us feel false and untrue, unworthy, and ironically, more angry. When a friend makes us angry and we don't address it, it can kill the friendship. Lying is a mistake, no matter how good our intentions are. We know that the truth is essential to trust and that intimacy and functional relationships demand honesty. We lie because it's less painful than creating conflicts or hurting people's feelings, and because we simply don't know what else to do. We want honesty, but we're afraid of it. We're afraid of the conflict it'll create. And we don't want people to think we're rude and ungrateful. Advice, that's never helpful, and to offer it is always a mistake. If you give bad advice, there will be some sort of backlash. But even if the advice is good, right, and appropriate, it demeans those who we give it to. We imply that they don't have the heart or the brains or the muscle to solve their problems. Giving advice always harms relationships. Advice always puts them under the obligation where they feel a burden of debt. If they don't take the advice, they fear offense. And if the advice was good, they fear will say, "Well, I told you so." So, advice is a form of coercion. They need expressions of our love rather than our advice. They need you to stand with them in their weakness, uncertainty, and sense of defeat. They need to know you care. Behaviors become destructive when we use them to avoid the discomfort of facing things we need to do, like maintain or repair our relationships, meet important deadlines, develop skills, and or straighten out our lives. When we occupy ourselves with any kind of behavior, no matter how normal, they're addictions. Addictions are often used to numb the pain, help us to cope, or manipulate our moods. A full blown addiction is out of control. Addictive behavior is a type of a self deceptive lie that distorts our ability to discern the difference between fact and fantasy. Eventually, those people with addictions have difficulty seeing anything, especially themselves, as it truly is. Thus, they inevitably cannot function effectively or behave responsibly or sustain a deep, intimate relationship. Addictions seduce people into surrendering their freedom. Addiction is the exact opposite of freedom. Even when we realize our behaviors are causing us great pain and we need to stop, we believe we can't. And every day, feeling more confused and less powerful, we become less able to cope with our self destructive habits. You are responsible to the ones you love, but not for them. The task is to learn where you end and others begin. I'm influenced by what I hear, see, and read. I take it in, I mix it around a bit, spew some of it back out. Sometimes I add chocolate sauce with the cherry on top. My notes here are the same. I read, but I might come up with more of a conclusion than the author intended. It's my suggestion that if you find this material interesting, you read it for yourself to see if you focus on the same things. My bet is that you'll see something slightly, if not altogether different. I wish you the best in your happy readings. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, safe travels.